With my buddies Randy and Tony. Say good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning. How are you? So, if this is your first time, you're going to want to go back and check the first part of their show so you can get the full story. But please go to check out Spiritual Warfare Unit on YouTube. Like and subscribe so you can check out guys' videos. If this is your first time, we have nonprofits that we're working with in the community that help out with food and clothes and baby formula and drug rehabilitation. UCAN, Michigan.com. If you're struggling and need some rehab, you can get on there. Someone will hit struggling and they will get back with you within 24 hours. If you go to spiritualwarfareunit.com, we got over 20 different nonprofits that we work with. And today we are with Randy Leach and Tony Seaback, and they are from Alano House. And we are getting the second half to your story. So the first half of your story is drinking, not drinking, where it started, getting older, separating kids, and then the dreaded beer at the golf that just sent this into, and you said for 6 months that you were homeless in your truck, hanging out with some old buddies, and what happened after that?
Well, for the first time in my life, I knew alcohol owned me.
Really? And you were how old? 48?
47.
47.
Yep. I remember, even though I'd been detoxed in my life, especially my first drinking career. I was probably detoxed 6 times. My wife, rescued me. Mm-hmm. I couldn't tell you how many different times. 2 of the hospitals I got detoxed in aren't even here anymore.
Wow.
Flint and St. Joe's, my favorite places. Been to treatment 2 different times before this. And I'm driving around in my truck so hopeless. I just don't know of any way out. You know what I mean? I know alcohol owns me. In the program that I belong to, they say your bottom's when you quit digging. Throw the shovel away.
Right.
At the end of my drinking, as bad as it got, you couldn't pry the shovel out of my hand.
No, you're still digging.
I didn't have any choice. You know what I mean? It's just like at the end of my drinking, I couldn't call it anything more than pitiful survival. Getting up every 2 hours just to drink a half a pint so I didn't shake to death.
Oh, my gosh.
You know what I mean? And then, but anyways, I'm driving around in my truck, and I'm thinking the only way that I'm possibly going to get help is get pulled over. That always works.
You were hoping to get pulled over.
Well, I wasn't really hoping. It just always worked. You know what I mean? They rough you up a little bit. They throw you in jail. You get out, you go to court, and then the judge always sent me to treatment.
So you were looking for a scenario that gave you no choice but to get better.
Yeah. I couldn't. I just couldn't put it down. I don't know why I couldn't call the wife. I love it when in the program when you get a new guy who comes into our program and he goes, "Yeah, I drove myself to emergency. I checked myself into treatment." I'm like, "How the hell did you do that?"
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Yeah. I just couldn't do it, even though I'd been there before.
Isn't that crazy when you say it out loud?
Yeah, it's
crazy, right?
You just get so hopeless. You know what I mean?
It's depression, right?
I know what hopeless feels like.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
very weighty, right?
But anyways, at the end of my rope, and my wife, we call her part witch, you know what I mean? She just has this inner sense. She always knew when to rescue me.
No kidding.
And she sent my brother. They found out where I was staying. They sent my brother out, and it's funny because I just came to about, it's like it's like this time of year, so it's like 6:30. I didn't know if it was morning or evening.
Wow.
I just knew it was 6:30 in the morning. It didn't even make any difference in my life at that time.
Right.
I was unemployable.
Right.
Just like I say, I'm just trying to survive. And the guy I'm staying with is totally passed out, blacked out, whatever. I hear the knock on the door. I knew it wasn't for him because he had zero friends.
Wow.
Nobody come and visit him.
Yeah.
So anyways, because he didn't do drugs. He just drank, I mean? If we'd had drugs, you know how that goes. It'd be knocking on the door all night long.
Yeah.
But it was my brother, and he told me, he goes, hey, Linda sent me here to get you.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And I didn't even believe him. But I wanted out of where I was at so bad. I mean, he could have been taking me to a slaughterhouse. It didn't even matter.
Yeah.
I just wanted out.
So you stop digging.
And I got up 2 hours before that, and I just refused. I goes, I'm not going to the fridge. I'm not doing it. So I don't give a crap what I go through. I'm not taking that drink.
Good.
And by the time he got me home, I was shaking so bad. And I was sitting in a chair, and the wife's looking at me, and she don't know what, I mean, I'm a disaster. I hadn't ate.
Yeah.
Probably hadn't showered in a few days, typical. And she goes, do you need to go to the hospital?
Yeah.
And I goes, no, I'm good. And I went to stand up, and I just wiped out right on the floor.
No kidding.
I couldn't even walk. So she rushed me to the hospital, going through detox. I mean, not detox. I'm going through the withdrawals, of alcohol, shaking like Don Knotts. I'm sitting in there down to McLaren, and nurses are just walking around. They're trying to make me fill out papers. I can't even see. I'm shaking so bad.
Yeah.
My vision is just gone.
Yeah.
And they're trying to have me fill this stuff out. So the wife's trying to help me, and I'm getting up and I'm walking around. I can't sit still.
Right.
And finally a doctor walks by and he goes, give that poor guy something. And I'm just like looking at the nurse. It's like,
yeah.
What I mean?
What doctor said.
And I've always, my whole life, I was an alcoholic. What I mean? I dabbled with a little bit of stuff you guys had once in a while just so I could drink longer. You know what I mean? But, man, I really looked down at anybody that would ever put a needle in their arm. I did. I mean, just lowest person on the planet. You know what I mean? I'm a drunk.
Not like an upgraded alcoholic standing person like myself.
I know it.
Like me.
But so the doctor comes by the second time because they couldn't find the pills they were supposed to be giving me.
Right.
Which you know what I mean? I wouldn't know what anything is. I remember, when I got sober, people in the program would ask me, "What would they give you?" I go, "I don't know."
Yeah.
But the guy goes by the second time. He goes, "Shoot him up with some Valium."
Oh.
So I had my sleeve up before. So I don't fool myself about that shit. If I was at the wrong place at the wrong time, going through DTs, and you, Isaac, if you come up to me and say, "Hey, this will take care of it,"
right? Help me, help you, help me.
Yeah, no, because I was dying. I really thought I was dying.
Wow.
So, anyways, the wife gets me in treatment again. I only did a 17-day job this time because our insurance, we were already paying half of it.
Gotcha.
So it was expensive. And my therapist said, "You've been there before." He goes, they set up a whole program with AA for me and got me a nice little book and everything, for all the Genesee County meetings. And
so this is the one that stuck.
Well, I remember, I told you before in 1989 when I got out of Columbia, I graduated. They gave me a nice little piece of paper. It was a nice certificate.
I'm sure.
When I got out of Columbia in 2003, I was scared. My worst week of my whole life, I swear to God, is when my therapist said I was going home.
Oh no, you're ready to live life. Oh
man,
crap.
they fed you great in there. 3 meals a day. I got to see my wife twice a week. I was okay with that.
Yeah, coming from barely scraping to survive to that was a major step up, right?
Yeah. So,
well, before we get into the next part, we still already got to go to our next break. So if this is your first time, please check out flintalano.com. That's our website, what they're doing. Like, share, and subscribe on Spiritual Warfare Unit. Sit tight. We'll be right back. Taking a quick break from our podcast, I wanted to let you know about our life application program that we have for churches and nonprofits in the area that are trying to find programming that they can use in case the corona shuts you down and you're not able to get in. You go to spiritualwarfareunit.com. You click on our episodes, and you can check out our programs for as little as $29.99 a month to make sure that we're still getting the word out to those people that need it. Now, back to the program. All right, welcome back to the Warriors Way. We were just getting into the final stages with Randy where he's about done with this. And so you're told, yay, we graduate, go back to your life. And you're like, oh, crap. Now what? Because you got to go, you got a job and you worked for your father-in-law, right?
At that time, I was self-employed. I worked for myself. I had my own tile business.
So you got to get that going again.
Yeah.
And then you got the wife and kids, and that can't be simple,
No.
right? So what'd you do?
Well, I basically promised my therapist I got out on a Saturday. I promised I was going to go to a meeting on Sunday, but I didn't feel good Sunday, so I didn't go to a meeting. Then I promised the wife I was going to go to a meeting on Monday, but I'd do it after work. This is my thinking going already, you know.
Yeah.
It's just like, and I'm scared to death. I don't know what to do. And I remember the first Monday when I got up and I was driving to work, and which is, you know, where I pick up my supplies is only a mile away from me. And I looked in my rearview mirror, and the guy that I got rescued his house from, you know, that I'd been drinking with at the end, this was, you know, he's right on my tail.
No kidding.
And I get a text. He shoots me a text. Let's go do something fun. And I'm like, God, I knew I needed somebody sane in my life at that moment. I knew it.
Yeah.
And the only one I knew that was sane was a little 4'10" Italian woman that I was.
You
married
called
to.
your wife and told on him? Good for you.
She actually works at the place where I pick up my supplies, obviously, because that's where you know what I mean?
Yeah,
the tile place. And she pulled my meeting book out of her purse. How it got there, I have no idea. And got me to my first meeting of Alcoholics Anonymous at the Flint Arid Club.
Oh, outstanding.
Yep.
You pulled out your ace in the hole.
Yeah.
Good for you.
So that was my beginning of my recovery.
And how long was that? Like, recovery's like ongoing, but like, what year was that?
That was in 2003.
So in 2003, so you'd been 48?
48. 40, no, I was still 47.
Okay, so just about to be 48.
Yeah.
All right, so you go into that, you get into AA, and what was the shutoff? What you're like, okay, I'm good now. Like I'm in this rut. Like, how long did that take?
Well,
like,
I remembered, you know, I mean, I was going to a lot of meetings. The only place I felt safe, and I'd met somebody at the Arid Club right away, and they got me to my very first day in Alcoholics Anonymous. They got me to the Flint Alano Club.
Now, explain something. Why do you use the word safe? That's very specific.
Because I was scared to death I was going to drink again.
You were scared of you and your decisions, but you knew there you'd be okay.
Well, I mean, if anybody's familiar, I mean, most people probably aren't. The Flint Arid Club, it's right downtown Flint. I pulled in there. I pulled in my, you know, I got a brand new pickup truck, dressed pretty nice, you know, and there's 2 cars in the parking lot. I goes inside, and there's 25 people at this 10 in the morning meeting. So the guy that got me in there, I goes, where do these people come from? He goes, well, a lot of them are homeless, and they're coming out of the Y, and everybody in that room tried to help me. And I'm like,
wow.
You know, I mean, I'm sitting here, I'm all dressed up garbage cans, what they call us, you know what I mean?
You were the nice one. And they're trying to help you.
Yeah.
That blew your mind, right?
It did.
Wow.
And
then there you felt so. The reason why I ask about that is because when you're working with recovery, and like I said, faith has a big part to do with it, but understanding that you can't trust yourself and the decisions you make is a really big, important thing, right? Because it's like, I keep doing this to me. How do I stop? And you were able to do that with this group. So you started that. What year was it again for you? 2003?
2003.
So from 2003 forward, anything of interest or note happen negatively?
No, well, I mean, it's just, you know, it's 6 months in the program. I realized I know what dry feels like. I was 12 years separated from alcohol. I know what dry feels like.
Right.
That's being separated without a solution. At 6 months in Alcoholics Anonymous, I finally picked up a set of spiritual tools laid at my feet. And I didn't do it because I wanted to, but I could feel the dry. I knew that I was worse off at 6 months than I was in my first month. Wow. Because at my first month, I was so happy to be relieved from that alcoholic torture that I'd been living in that last month of my drinking. That wears off, man.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I know. And you're ability to get things done fades and your willpower breaks eventually.
Oh, it's a disaster.
Right. And you know it is, and you're just waiting for that time, right? And everything's just an inevitable fear until that day comes, and then screw it, and then that's the answer. And that's where faith, like I tell people, I said, if faith wasn't logical, I just wouldn't do it. Yeah. I just wouldn't do it because it wouldn't make any sense. But the actions make sense to the outcome and gives you purpose, right? Which is the whole reason that we're here.
And I was struggling so bad because I really didn't feel like I had really any faith in God at the time. You know
sure.
what I mean? It's just like anybody else that's gone through a torture their whole life that, was brought on by myself. But I was suffering from an illness too. But you know what I mean? It's like, why would God do this to a nice guy like me?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I don't deserve this. I mean, what kind of a hotel is he running around here?
Yeah.
But you took that, and after all those struggles, so from 12 to 47, that's a really long time. And then instead of just going, well, I got my sobriety, I'm off. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. You decided to help people. Now, when did that happen, and why did you make that decision?
Well, it's kind of crazy. At 2 months in the program, I met a friend of mine, Rod A. I could probably tell you his last name, but anyways, he's a great guy. And he shared, he wasn't really my friend at the time, but I really looked up to him because I could tell he was a hard ass, and I knew I needed hard asses in my life at that time. And he goes, I went through my whole life with never having a purpose. And he goes, I found Alcoholics Anonymous, and it was my purpose, is to stay sober and help the next alcoholic that walks through the door.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
you're like, me too?
That's me. You know what I mean? I had no idea how that was going to turn out or how it was going to unfold, but I knew that was me. I just told you, I used to sit out in front of my freaking house with everything
what am I supposed
could possibly
to do?
Want and ask God why I was on this planet.
And it just hits you like, that's it.
Yeah, and it's always been that way.
So when did that happen? Did that happen right at 47? Right there, the first couple months, and then from that point,
I got busy.
Now you're the president of Alano House, right?
That's not really a high distinction. Just to let
I'm just
know.
saying. Well, here's the thing: while you're being humble and it's cool.
It's a great honor.
The thing is that you chose to do that. Like a lot of people go.
I don't think I had a choice.
I think you did. I just think you knew the other outcomes were unsuccessful, and you were aware of that, and you knew without purpose you would fall back to that because that's the only outcome. And I think you knew that
Yeah.
And I think that you chose to do that. I'm trying to hone in on this thing, so help me get there. So,
there's a lot of things that got me going. Like in our book, it says God is going to be we need a new director.
Yeah,
He's the principal. We're his agent. Where did He send me? Where did I end up?
AA. Yeah.
So what am I agent of? AA.
Imagine that. And then
I've been going to church my whole life. My wife drags me every Sunday.
He's the perfect guy too. He's humble. He's an awesome.
Well, but the thing is you didn't have to do that. A lot of guys get their sobriety, or gals get their sobriety, and they're like,
that was my plan.
Yeah.
A lot of
my plan was just to get better and see you later.
Oh yeah, they're like, it's all part of the plan. But then it's empty. The problem is you get your hand in the and then it's empty, and it's not what you think, right? And it's like there you sit and you decided to help people, and the outcome is that you're still helping people. We got to go to our next break.
Yeah.
But that story is so cool. That arc is so amazing of how you chose to do that. And I just really respect that because a lot of people wouldn't make it. In fact, most people don't make that choice and when they're going into it. And some people don't struggle so difficult.
I feel I was blessed I could.
Right. You get the opportunity to help people, right?
Absolutely.
And Tony is the resident manager. We're going to get to him right after the break. And he's got a super solid story, which we're not going to get this time, but we're going to get soon. But we're going to go to break, and we're going to come back, and we're going to talk about golf outings and dances and all kinds of crazy stuff. So this is your first time Spiritual Warfare Unit. Please like and subscribe. We cannot help others without your help. Sit tight. We'll be right back.
Hey, it's Aaron with UCAN. We're down here at the Unity Fest the Heart of Flint is putting on. Kersey Park Pavilion over here on the east side. Doing a lot of great things out here with a lot of great people there. All types of vendors, people giving away food and water and clothing, just a lot of resources for the community. UCAN's out here, and we're talking to a lot of people already whose loved ones have been afflicted by the disease of addiction. So we're able to get our information out, hopefully be able to provide resources to those folks in the future.
There's freedom in your name, Jesus. There's freedom in your name.
here we are at Unity Fest 2, and I'm here with the promoter, Jeremy. How are we doing today, buddy?
Good, man. How are you doing?
Doing great. We're here at the UCAN tent, handing out for United Community Addiction Network, getting everybody here helped out. It looks like a full house. How many people do you think are here?
Oh, a few hundred. We just opened, so I think it's going to get better, though, today.
All right, and how many people you got playing today?
We have 3 artists. We got Shantae Music, and we have Nick Hill, who's out of Saginaw, and then End of I. I don't know who they are, but...
All right, welcome back to the Warriors Way. Our Warriors this week are Randy Leach and Tony Seaback, and we've been talking with Randy, and we finished up a story. That was a really super good story. So give Tony a good introduction here, his title and the stuff that he does for us.
Well, I met Mr. Seaback I've probably known him 16 years. I've watched him suffer for a lot of years. He's always been a good person. I've never been really afraid of him, but, early when Tony's got 2 years now. He just celebrated 2 years, and I'm really proud of him. He's really got into the program. But I remember when one of the board members came up to me and he said, we were looking for a house manager. And when we reopened after COVID,
yeah.
And he goes, well, what about Tony? And there's a lot of Tonys in our program. Mm-hmm. So they start, and we don't do last names, so he's going on, and he goes, well, Tattoo Tony, the biker, the truck driver, and all of a sudden Tony's picture came up in my head. I'm like, oh, heck no, that ain't happening. But, one thing the program has definitely allowed me of, and it's proven to me over and over again, that contempt prior to investigation just keeps you ignorant.
Right.
You know what I mean? So
right.
I goes, yeah, but I'll have a meeting with him. And I got thinking about it in between the meeting, unfortunately, I don't know, it's kind of screwy to me. All I think about it anymore, it seems like, is recovery, you know what I mean? It's like my
it's
life.
your passion, yeah.
But
makes sense.
So I goes, yeah, I'll talk to him, and I didn't talk to him 5 minutes and knew he was perfect for it. We're in Flint, we're East Side Flint.
Yeah.
It is not a good neighborhood.
It is rough over there.
We get people just walking in there. Yep. We call 911 probably at least once every 2 months. You know what I mean?
Outstanding.
And I got thinking about it. I goes, I know he's trying. You know what I mean? I've always liked him. You know what I mean? I mean, I wouldn't have had him over the house to meet the kids.
If you didn't like him, yeah.
But no, as a person, he was always good to me. But anyways, when I met him, you know what I mean? I knew right then. He goes, nothing here is going to affect him. He's seen it all.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? This shit. Nobody's going to walk in this club and bother Tony.
Yeah. Yeah. They're going to go, oh, sorry.
Perfect. He's perfect.
Yeah.
And he has been perfect. So.
All right. So you do the resident managing, and every time we meet, you're always setting something, some party for something on there, right? You're like an event planner, is basically, and like a sober event planner. That's basically what he does. So you guys have some stuff coming up, and so February 11th, you're having a Valentine's Day dance, a sober dance, right?
Yes, sir. Yes.
All right. Just what's it for? Why are you doing it? That kind of stuff.
I met you a while ago, and I'm very happy to be here with you today. Let me start. This dance, first and foremost, anything I get involved with is for the community.
Okay.
I get to enjoy the fruits.
Yeah.
But everything I do is to let people know about the Alano House and that we're there.
Gotcha.
And it's even for the community. So this Valentine's Day dance is to raise money for St. Andrews.
Okay.
Father Jay's been there for like 20 years, somewhere around there.
Yeah.
And he's been feeding the homeless Friday and Saturday for years.
Okay.
So when we do an event at his place, we give the proceeds to him.
Okay.
And whatever food's left over.
They're like 2 blocks from us too.
All right. So people dress up. They don't dress. Like, what is it, man?
Well, we have different venues. This one is the best dressed 2 people, not couple. So whoever's dressed the best.
So you like 007 and a princess kind of thing?
Yeah, if they're coming decked out, they might win $50.
Okay, and there's like 3 prizes, right? We don't have to tell them what it is, but
no door prizes, raffles.
Everybody loves a competition.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they come down there, and it's a sober place to hang out and have a good time then?
Yeah, this is open for the public, for the community. It's a $5 suggestion. If you don't got it, please come, because this is why we're doing it.
Yeah. So that's on FlintAlano.com?
Yes, sir.
All right. And is there a number on there people can just Google If they go, is there AA.com? Which one did you want them to go to? I can't remember.
Oh, yeah, the hotline.
Yeah.
It's written down. It's
yeah, it was on the orange book, but they can just go on Google it.
Yeah, they can just go to AA. The AA.com.
AA.com.
Org, either one.
So instead of AAA, it's AA.
Yes.
Just remember it in battery sizes. That's how I do it.
Absolutely.
All right. And then the day after you do the Valentine's Day party, you're having a Super Bowl party, right?
Yeah, and I'd like to, and these events draw a lot of people. I'm estimating that the Super Bowl party will be open at 5. It's a chili cook-off.
Yeah, hold on a minute. You just can't just skip over chili cook-off like I had a burp or something.
They did it to me.
No, so like typically when you're doing chili cook-offs, the food you get is really good, right?
Man, we don't have nothing but good food. Anything we do.
Like how many people are in the contest, right?
We don't
for
know.
the chili cook-off.
I'll tell you what. Every event we've had since we've opened, we've ran 80 to over 100 people. One St. Patty's Day, we ran around 300. So we never know how.
Well, how many different types of chili are we talking about here?
We don't really know. We know about a dozen right now.
12 different.
At least, probably think.
And more people's going to bring stuff.
And it's the perfect weather because it's just rainy and crappy out. So chili's perfect.
We also got a supplier of pizza, too. So we're going to have pizza with it. So if you don't like chili.
About that.
Yeah.
Pizza and chili.
Hungry Howie's Pizza.
That's cool. And so that starts at what time?
5 o'clock.
5 o'clock?
5 till we're done.
All right. And just can you give out the address for that?
Yes, I can. It's 2608 Maplewood, Flint, Michigan, 48505.
Right on the corner of Franklin and Delaware, east side of
Franklin and Delaware.
All you got to do is
We're on
say
Maplewood.
Flint Alano Club, and it'll tell you.
Flint Alano Club. Just Google Flint Alano Club, and you got it. All right. So you have that. That starts at 5:30 and it ends at 11. Is that right?
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. And then the last thing I think you guys want to talk about was a golf outing or something, correct?
Yeah. 3 years ago, we had a friend. She's such a huge part of my recovery. She passed away 3 years ago, just before COVID. Marlene Lennon, and one of our members decided to go, let's have a Marlene annual golf outing. You know what I mean? And we have it at Kersley Golf Course. It's a huge fundraiser for the club. We run on, you know what I mean? We
duct tape and bubble gum, brother.
Yeah,
I got you.
I know it. We need donations. You know what I mean? Nothing's cheap,
right?
You know, it's not. Everybody at the club's a volunteer. We do have, I have a list of. We have a lot of local businesses, that promote us, that help us out here and there. But it's still a struggle. You know what I mean? It's like this. Winters are tough on us.
So what's the golf outing?
The golf outing is. Basically, it's just a one-day event at Kersley. It's pretty cheap, but we get local businesses as sponsors. To sponsor a hole for a couple $100. And what it does is it raises. Like last year, we raised $4,500 clear.
Nice.
So what it does is gets the club through the winter.
All right, and they can go to alano.com to check the dates and times.
Yeah, they go to our website. It'll be on our website soon. It's in August.
Do you remember what the cost is on that?
It's $50 a person or $200 a team. Yep.
That's it.
And you get your hot dogs, 18 holes with a cart.
Yeah.
We're just trying to survive. You know what I mean? We're not trying to kill anybody. And
you're trying to make some money, help some people, have a good time, and everybody gets what they want.
And we hope we help Kersley. That's why we wanted to go to a Flint golf course. You know what I mean? Because we're in Flint.
Right. Well, Randy and Tony, thank you so much for coming in. We are at the end of the show. Mm-hmm. That was wonderful. Thank you so much for that story. It's really going to help a lot of people. Thank you so much for watching. If this is your first time, please like and subscribe at Spiritual Warfare Unit. We cannot help others without your help. Thank you so much, and we will see you next time. Do you have a nonprofit in your area that's doing a lot of work that people should know about? Feel free to contact Spiritual Warfare Unit at 810-715-9319, and we would love to have them on to see what good they're doing in the community and find out their story. Thank you so much.
Too much and let me stay this way.